Distance and displacement. What is the difference? So we have an example question here. A guy is at 10 centimeters on a fence, and then he crawls 7 centimeters up. This is an important thing we need to consider. The fence, and then turns around and crawls 40 centimeters down the fence. Find the displacement with the symbol D, the symbol of displacement D, and the displacement and the symbol of displacement is D with an arrow on top, and I'll explain why. Okay, so distance is known as a scalar. And a scalar is just a number without a direction. It doesn't tell us that he went up, down, left, right, north, east, west, all that stuff. It doesn't tell us the direction, it just tells us the amount, the number. So that's why it's called scalar. That's why it's just a D. But displacement is known as a vector. And a vector is a number and direction. So a vector, the answer for displacement would include a number and direction. So that's why it has an arrow here to symbolize direction. Okay, so let's picture this example question, right? So we have a fence. We have a fence that's like this tall. We can. So he was at 10 centimeters of the fence. He was right there, 10 centimeters of the fence. And he crawled 70 centimeters up the fence. Okay. And then he crawled 40 centimeters down the fence. Right? Okay, so, you know, the fence is probably 80 centimeters. Probably 80 centimeters or something like that. That doesn't really matter. Don't let the 10 centimeters confuse you, or the 80 centimeters confuse you. Don't let that confuse you. So when you want to find the distance is how much crawling did he do? Like how much, the total amount of crawling. Okay. So the total amount of crawling is obviously, you know, he crawled 7 centimeters up, and then he crawled 40 centimeters down. So he crawled a total amount of 110 centimeters. That is his total crawling. That is the distance. Okay. But the displacement, okay, is if he took a direct route from the starting point to his final point, what is the length of that and the direction of the starting to the final point? That is the displacement. So we find that out by finding 70 minus 40 equals 30 centimeters, because 30 plus 40 makes 70. And also, if he did take a direct route, what's the direction of his direct route? Is it up? Is it left? Oh, sorry, left or right, or is it down? It's up, which is north. So his direction is north. So this is our answer for displacement. So you see how I did not include the 70 meters in our calculations, because I mean this is trying to confuse you, but it really doesn't matter. Our 10 centimeters is like our starting point, and our starting point is always at 0. 0 plus 70, and then plus 40. We don't do 10 because he didn't start here. He didn't start at the bottom. If he started at the bottom, then that would be different. He would have gone 10 centimeters, and then he went 70 centimeters, and then he went 40. But he didn't do that. He started right there. So our starting point is always like 0. So we don't include this. We don't think about this. Okay? Now let's just take a couple of examples just to jog our memory. Not our memory, but like to practice some of this. See if you know what we're doing. So if a person went all the way there, which is maybe 10 centimeters, and then went halfway back, which is obviously 10 divided by 2 is 5 centimeters. What is the distance? Well, he walked a total amount of 15 centimeters. He kept walking for 15 centimeters, which is, 10 plus 5. But what is the displacement? Displacement is from the starting point to the end point. What is this distance right here? This distance right here is something plus 5 is 10. 10 minus 5 equals 5 centimeters. And what is the direction of his direct route? Like if he went from here to here directly, what direction did he move? He moved to the east. He moved to the right. So that is our answer for displacement. Okay, what if somebody went, they went down. They went down for 5 centimeters, and then they went back up to their starting point, and that was another 5 centimeters. So what is their displacement and their distance? Their distance is the total amount of walking, which is 5 plus 5 equals 10 centimeters. And displacement is the direct route, if he took a direct route from a starting point to his end point. And that is 0. It's 0. It's 0 centimeters. Because if he didn't do all that walking around, he started at the same point that he ended up. So his displacement is nothing, because he didn't really move if he didn't do all that unnecessary walking. He just he ended off at the same place he started. So it's 0 centimeters, and as he didn't really move anywhere, there is no direction because he stayed at the same point. Okay? So that is the difference. And if you want even another example, what about if somebody goes, what about if somebody goes like this? They go 5 centimeters to the right, and then they go 10 centimeters to the left. What is the distance and the displacement? So the distance is the total amount of walking, remember? So it's 5 plus 10, that's 15, easy, right? Okay. But the displacement here, okay, if this is our starting point, that's our ending point. What is the length here? It is 10 minus 5, right? Equals 5 centimeters. Or you can just think 5 plus what makes 10 centimeters, and it's 5 centimeters. But then we think about the direction, right? If we think about the direction he would have moved, if he took a direct route from his starting point to his end point, and he moved to the west, right? So 5 centimeters west.